All right, Jake, so we just talked about something that is amazing to see. Let's talk about something a little bit more unfortunate,
Why?
sadly.
Dude,
Yeah.
even with me being this tired, I am not surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for bringing me back down to earth on this one. What is it?
Yeah, so we're going to talk about World of Warcraft again.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, which, no worries, guys. It's not becoming a World of Warcraft podcast.
We don't know enough to talk about.
Probably the last
WoW.
time it's coming up
Thank
for a
God.
good minute. But this situation specifically is just so shocking and so just... It sends bad vibes.
Oh, wait,
everywhere.
this actually has been talked about a lot.
Yeah,
Yes.
quite a
Yes.
bit, yes. So just this week, Warcraft 3 Reforged released, which is essentially it's supposed to be a remaster of the classic Warcraft 3. And the entire community seems kind of up in arms about it because the game came out and it's just not at all what people were told it was going to be. The trailers that they showed earlier show a completely different game, essentially, than what players actually received. And, not only that, but it actually broke the old version of the game for players that used to play that. So now they can't just chill and play that offline anymore. It's just they've lost features, even if they didn't want the new version.
If there's one thing you don't want to do in this kind of, oh, my God.
Yeah. You don't want to take away the purchase that people made and have been playing for decades and enjoying and be like, no, you can't do that anymore, guys.
It's even worse that it's done with almost like a remastering of that thing you just broke.
Yeah.
So like forcing people to play a remaster, but also breaking the thing if they don't want to play breaking the thing they could be playing if they didn't want to play the remastering. If that makes sense to you.
No, yeah.
It's an accomplishment.
Yeah,
it's definitely being talked about.
It's impressive how much Blizzard has just been able to shoot themselves in the foot on this one. Like they went for each one of their toes and they were like, let's just, oh, this gun is out of bullets, to shoot ourselves in the foot with this other one,
we can name off a lot of those bullets that we had this past year.
Absolutely. But here's where it's kind of relevant to esports, you see.
Okay.
So Warcraft 3, for those of you who may not be familiar, is actually the basis that Dota was made from. Dota was originally a Warcraft 3 mod.
I don't think I knew that, actually.
Yeah. It was built off of that. The modders eventually got hired by Valve, and they made Dota 2. And the situation there was Blizzard had the opportunity to hire them, to reach out, to try and do something with them. That entire time, they just didn't.
Yeah.
And once, Valve decided to get in on the ground floor, and Blizzard tried to sue, of course, because then they saw, Dota 2 is making money. We want that money. And, lost, of course, But now it seems like they're trying to avoid that situation ever occurring again because they've included this clause in their terms of service that essentially makes it so that anybody making a mod in this version of Warcraft, Blizzard owns it. Anything you make, anything you do inside of Warcraft 3 Reforged, Blizzard, they basically own your soul. This
is debatable, Zan.
Is it though? It's just
okay.
It's to such an extreme though.
I know, and I don't understand the full details, nor do I have the energy to fully argue it out.
Yeah, no worries.
But to a certain extent, you understand where they're coming from. When you had that happen to you in the past, and it certainly hurts you financially to see that happen. Along with that, it is technically your property, right? So if anyone takes your property and kind of shifts it into something of their own, you're going to want a piece of that. If they want all of it, and I don't know. I come from the safer angle of maybe they would want to work with someone if they made a far out mod that had some success. They'd be like, okay, let's work with you.
Yeah,
maybe.
See, that's where I'm kind of thinking about stuff. I feel like it wouldn't. Other companies have clauses kind of similar to this, right? Where they say, hey, if you make something in our game, then it is still kind of our property, but not like they escalate it in a whole other level here with something called a moral rights clause, I believe, which essentially takes the right of attribution, which is the right to be credited for your work at all, and says that you don't even have that. So you don't even have the right to have your name on the thing that you make.
Okay.
If you make it inside of Warcraft 3. They can take whatever you create and completely ignore your existence. Or they can just say, hey, you've got to shut it down right now. And it's just it's kind of shocking.
It's a tough debate. Does that include it? Obviously, these mods wouldn't be changing the original game files, right? It wouldn't be affecting the main game?
It would kind of depend on the mod per se, but most of them wouldn't they wouldn't affect other people's base experience.
I assume it wouldn't.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. You come from the argument of like maybe you look towards a lot of RuneScape viewers. RuneScape didn't have mods. They had third-party services that were trying to add into the game, and Jagex was like, no, we don't want these third-party services affecting a few people's experience and not everyone's experience. It's not even a direct relation to this story, but I'm trying to make one. And Jagex pretty much said to a lot of them, no, you can't do that. So it's got to be tough shoes to make a stance with. I don't know.
It would be my thought process is it would be so easy for Blizzard to just say, hey, if you make a thing in our engine with our game, then we get first dibs and we'll work with you, right? Or, hey, we are entitled to our cut of that, right?
Yeah.
Like, even if they said, I would argue that even if they said, hey, we'll take a 25% cut, I feel like that would incentivize people to make content in the game even. Now, with this, most people are saying, I will never make a mod for Blizzard in a game like this, because why would they do that if their work will just be, it's just stolen?
Certainly, it probably backfired in that sense. At least Blizzard was transparent.
They weren't. They didn't tell anybody.
Oh, they didn't?
No, it's not like they came out and were like, hey, guys, so we're making this change.
Wait, how was this found out?
It was in their TOS.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah. It's like
that makes it really hard to
very
argue for.
heavily the exact clause is to the extent you are prohibited from transferring or assigning your moral rights to Blizzard by applicable laws to the utmost extent legally permitted, you waive any moral rights or similar rights you may have in all such custom games without any remuneration.
Okay, given the facts, I thought this was made a public statement via Blizzard.
Oh no, people just found this and were like, "What are you doing?"
Okay, yeah, that makes it a bit more rough, to be honest.
Yeah.
How do I
will say the Metacritic score right now is below Fallout 76. It's below Anthem. It's it's still dropping. People are not happy.
I'll make a final statement in saying that if you use their game to make some sort of mod, some sort of write-off that eventually gets used by them, you certainly, I would say, are entitled to a percentage or a cut because you put the effort in, you put the work in. I think it's going to be a case-by-case basis if someone actually does do this, and we'll see if Blizzard cuts them in or Blizzard cuts them out and abuses that. So until further notice, I can't really judge them too much.
That's fair.
I think they have shot themselves in the foot in terms of this being found out via the community and not themselves going forward and saying it, and thus creator content or community-created content is going to be suffering because of it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the community is going to really touch this game. I think it's going to be a dead game in a couple months.
And it very well could be.
People are pissed. Like, I don't think I've seen a community this mad about a game, like, actually ever.
I did see it all over the place, especially like Bellular, those kind of people. But we'll have to see, case by case, and we'll see how Blizzard acts when it actually comes into effect.
Fingers crossed they do the right thing.
Fingers crossed.